What if everything you've been taught about reality is wrong? What if the world you see, the life you think is fixed, and the limitations you believe are real are all just illusions? Imagine stepping into a universe where time bends, matter is nothing but energy, and your thoughts can shape the very world around you. Welcome to the other side, a hidden layer of existence revealed by quantum physics. Here, fear contracts reality, synchronicities are real, and you are not just living life, you are creating it. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover 12 powerful lessons that can free your mind, expand your possibilities, and transform the way you see everything, from your past to your future, to the very reality you experience. Are you ready to unlock the secrets of the universe and realize that the ultimate power has been inside you all along? 1. You are not just matter. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? A body, a reflection, a set of physical traits. That's the world you've been trained to accept, the tangible, solid, undeniable reality of matter. But quantum physics tells a radically different story at the smallest scale. Nothing is solid, not even the chair you're sitting on, or the air you breathe. Everything, every atom, every particle, is a vibrating wave of energy, a possibility, a fluctuation in probability. Imagine for a moment that your body isn't a fixed object, but a constantly shifting field of energy. The molecules that make up your cells, the electrons buzzing around your atoms, are not things in the classical sense. They are probabilities constantly interacting with the environment, collapsing into form only when observed. In other words, the universe at its core is alive, fluid, and incredibly responsive. Now, here's the mind-blowing part. You are made of the same energy. You are not merely a solid entity moving through space and time. You are a dynamic, ever-changing wave of energy. Your thoughts, intentions, and emotions are not trivial. They resonate with this energy. Every belief you hold, every fear you cling to, every act of imagination subtly interacts with the field of reality itself. This is more than abstract physics. It's a profound invitation. If matter is not fixed, and if you are fundamentally energy, then the limitations you've accepted in life, the ones society, your past, or even your own mind have imposed, are illusions. They are not walls of stone. They are patterns of energy that can be shifted, restructured, and transformed. The first lesson of quantum freedom is simple but revolutionary. You are not your body, and you are not the life you've been told is fixed. You are energy, consciousness, and infinite possibility. The moment you truly grasp this, you start to see reality differently. The world begins to feel less like a cage and more like a canvas, waiting for the brushstrokes of your intention. You are not just matter. You are the unseen force that creates matter, and that changes everything. 2. Observation changes reality. Have you ever wondered if reality is truly out there, waiting for you to experience it, or if it somehow responds to your very act of noticing? Quantum physics answers this question with one of the most astonishing discoveries of modern science. The act of observation literally changes the behavior of matter itself. This is best illustrated by the famous double-slit experiment. When electrons or photons are fired through two slits onto a screen, they create a mysterious interference pattern, as if each particle passes through both slits at the same time, existing in multiple possibilities simultaneously. But here's the twist. The moment a scientist tries to measure which slit the particle goes through, the particle collapses into a single outcome. Simply observing it changes the experiment itself. Reality behaves differently when it knows it is being watched. Now think about that for a second. If the smallest building blocks of the universe respond to observation, what does that imply about you, a conscious observer, moving through your life? It suggests that your focus, your attention, and even your beliefs are not passive. They are active forces shaping the world around you. Every moment you pay attention to fear, doubt, or limitation, you are influencing reality on a quantum level. Conversely, when you focus on possibility, abundance, or creativity, you are nudging the universe toward that outcome. This doesn't mean reality bends like a magic trick. It means that you are co-creating your life with every thought and every perception. Your mind is not a spectator, it's a participant. The invisible energy of observation interacts with the potentiality of the universe and helps collapse infinite possibilities into the reality you experience. Here's the profound lesson. If you change what you observe, you can change what becomes real. You are not powerless against the world. Your consciousness is a subtle, extraordinary tool. Your attention is like a tuning fork for reality. Wherever it vibrates, that is what emerges. In short, what you focus on shapes what exists. The universe is listening, reacting, and reflecting back the energy of your observation. The first step to freedom of mind is realizing that you are not at the mercy of reality. Reality responds to you. 3. Everything is connected. At first glance, the world seems divided. You feel separate from other people, from nature, from the universe itself. You feel like a tiny, isolated individual navigating a vast, impersonal world. But quantum physics shatters that illusion. At the most fundamental level, everything is deeply, invisibly connected. This is revealed through the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. Two particles, even when separated by light years of distance, can instantly influence each other, change the state of one, and the other responds immediately, as if they are part of a single unified system. Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance, but it is far more than a curiosity. It is a window into the profound interconnectedness of all existence. Think about what this means for your life. You are not an isolated island. Every thought, every action, every emotion radiates outward into the web of reality. When you help someone, even in ways you don't see, you are subtly affecting the entire system. When you harbor fear or resentment, that too resonates through the invisible threads connecting all things. Your energy has a ripple effect. The lesson is both humbling and empowering. You are never truly alone, and nothing exists in isolation. The universe is a network of infinite relationships, a vast tapestry of energy in constant interaction. Your mind, your heart, your intentions, they are all part of this invisible web, influencing outcomes in ways that may be invisible yet profoundly real. Imagine your life differently. Instead of seeing yourself as struggling against the world, you begin to understand that you are part of an intricate living system. Your choices matter not just to you, but to the invisible currents connecting everything around you. By aligning your energy with the natural flow of this quantum web, through kindness, focus, and conscious intention, you begin to tap into a hidden support system that has always been there. The third lesson is crystal clear. You are a node in a universe of infinite connection. Your thoughts, your actions, your presence resonate beyond the boundaries of your physical body. Understanding this changes not only how you see the world, but how you live in it. You are never small. You are never separate. You are part of a whole, and that whole responds to you. 4. Possibilities exist before reality. Have you ever felt stuck, as if life is fixed, predetermined, or limited by your past? Quantum physics tells us something utterly revolutionary. Reality isn't fixed until it is observed or acted upon. Before an outcome becomes real, it exists as a field of infinite possibilities. This is called superposition. At the quantum level, particles don't exist in one state until they are measured. Instead, they exist in all possible states at once, hovering in potentiality, waiting for the act of observation to collapse them into one outcome. Imagine if the same principle applied to your life. Every moment, you are surrounded by countless possibilities. Every choice, every thought, every decision is like observing a particle in superposition. It determines which path will solidify into reality. The implications are profound. The life you are living is not fixed. It is not the only reality available to you. You are constantly surrounded by branching possibilities, unseen potentialities that could take form depending on where your attention and energy go. Fear, doubt, and hesitation limit which possibilities collapse into reality. Courage, imagination, and clarity expand them. Think of your mind as a quantum lens. When you focus with clarity and intention, you literally influence which potentialities manifest. When you act with purpose, you collapse the endless field of could-bes into the reality you want. Your life is not a linear path dictated by chance or fate. It is a field of infinite potential waiting for your conscious interaction. This is freedom at its deepest level. The moment you realize that life is not fixed, that nothing is set in stone, and that possibilities exist before reality, you start to see yourself differently. You begin to understand that you are not a passive passenger in life. You are an active participant in the unfolding of your own destiny. The fourth lesson of quantum freedom is transformative. Infinite possibilities exist before reality. Your choices, attention, and intentions determine which path becomes real. Once you embrace this truth, every moment becomes an opportunity to shape your world. The life you imagine isn't a dream, it's a probability waiting to be observed into existence. 5. Energy precedes form. Everything you see around you, the chair you sit on, the screen you're watching, the walls enclosing your space, appears solid, fixed, and immovable. But quantum physics reveals a hidden truth so profound it can completely change the way you experience life. Matter is not the foundation of reality. Energy is. At the subatomic level, what we perceive as solid matter is, in fact, mostly empty space. Electrons are not tiny spheres spinning around atoms like planets around a sun. They are vibrating packets of energy, clouds of probability that only appear solid when they interact with other energy. Protons, neutrons, and even the nucleus of an atom are not static things, but dynamic concentrations of energy in constant motion. Matter is simply energy condensed into a form that we can perceive. If energy precedes form at the heart of the universe, then your life, your body, your thoughts, and your experiences are also fundamentally energy. This is where the lesson becomes deeply personal. Everything you are, everything you experience, is not fixed reality. It is energy in motion, shaped by intention, emotion, and consciousness. Your thoughts are not merely electrical impulses firing through neurons. Each thought carries a vibration, a frequency, a subtle energy that interacts with the world around you. Your emotions, joy, fear, love, resentment, are also forms of energy. They extend beyond your body, influencing the people you interact with, the situations you attract, and even the unseen currents of probability that quantum physics reveals. This principle has radical implications. Most people live their lives assuming that their circumstances, their limitations, and their failures are solid and unavoidable. But if energy comes first and form comes second, then the forms you see, your reality, are a manifestation of the energy you emit. The vibration of your mind, your beliefs, and your emotions shapes the probability field around you, collapsing infinite possibilities into the specific reality you experience. Think of it like this. You are constantly projecting energy into the world, whether you realize it or not. If your energy is chaotic, fearful, or negative, it distorts the field, attracting experiences that match that vibration. If your energy is focused, positive, and aligned with your highest intentions, it organizes the probabilities around you, drawing experiences that resonate with that higher frequency. You are not a passive observer in the universe. You are an active energy creator. Quantum physics also teaches that this energy is not isolated. Through principles like entanglement, your energy interacts with the energy of others and with the universe at large. You are a node in a vast network of vibrating possibilities. Your focus, your intentions, your emotions, all act like ripples in a pond, affecting the wider energy field in ways that are subtle, profound, and often invisible. This means that personal transformation is possible in a way that classical thinking cannot explain. You cannot always control the external world, but you can control the energy you radiate, and in doing so, you influence the world in ways both immediate and long-term. By cultivating clarity of thought, emotional balance, and conscious intention, you are effectively shaping the forms of your life before they appear. You are sculpting reality out of energy. The fifth lesson of quantum freedom is both liberating and empowering. Energy precedes form. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are not just mental or emotional experiences, they are real forces shaping the very fabric of your existence. Understanding this allows you to stop seeing yourself as trapped by circumstances and begin to see yourself as a conscious creator of your reality. The universe, at its core, is not a collection of static objects. It is a living, dynamic web of energy. By aligning yourself with this energy, by understanding that form is secondary and energy is primary, you can start to consciously participate in the creation of your life. Your body, your environment, your relationships, even your opportunities, all are forms emerging from the invisible energy you emit. In practical terms, this means cultivate thoughts that are empowering, focused, and intentional. Observe your emotions and recognize their vibrational impact on your surroundings. Align your energy with the life you desire before expecting it to manifest in physical form. Release patterns of fear, doubt, and resistance which distort the energy field around you. By doing this, you begin to live in harmony with the fundamental truth of reality. Energy is the source, form is the result, and you are the conscious architect of both. This is not philosophy, wishful thinking, or spirituality alone. This is quantum reality. And once you truly internalize it, life stops feeling like a set of random events and begins to feel like a responsive, intelligent system, a universe waiting for you to consciously shape it. In short, matter is secondary, energy is primary, and your mind, your intentions, and your emotions are the tools through which you shape the very reality you experience. Once you embrace this, you step closer to mastering the freedom of your mind. 6. Your mind influences matter. For centuries, we've been taught that the world is an unchangeable, objective place, that the chair you sit on, the job you have, even your body, are simply facts of reality, independent of who you are or what you think. But quantum physics tells a profoundly different story. Your mind does not merely perceive reality, it influences, shapes, and even creates it. This is not metaphor, suggestion, or wishful thinking. It's science. Experiments in quantum mechanics repeatedly show that consciousness interacts with matter. The double-slit experiment demonstrates that particles behave differently when they are observed. Even more startling are studies showing that intention alone can affect the outcome of experiments at the quantum level. Your mind, through focus, expectation, and observation, is not separate from reality. It is intimately entwined with it. Think about the implications. Every thought you hold, every belief you carry, every mental image you dwell on sends out subtle energy ripples. These ripples, imperceptible to the senses, are real forces that interact with the probabilities of the universe. Your mind is a quantum instrument, capable of collapsing possibilities into outcomes, shaping the world in ways that are subtle yet undeniable. This principle is visible not only in physics labs, but also in the patterns of human life. People who cultivate mental clarity, focus, and unwavering intention often experience opportunities, synchronicities, and breakthroughs that seem too lucky to be random. They are not lucky. Their consciousness is shaping reality. Conversely, doubt, fear, and distraction create interference patterns, limiting what manifests in life. The energy of your mind is a field, constantly interacting with the energy of the universe. Consider how this applies in daily life. A student preparing for an exam doesn't just memorize facts. Their focus, intention, and confidence influence how effectively their brain organizes information. A leader attempting to inspire a team doesn't merely communicate words. Their mental clarity, emotional resonance, and belief in success influence outcomes beyond logic or control. Even your physical health responds to the energy of your thoughts. Stress, belief, and expectation can impact immune function, cellular repair, and the subtle interactions that define the body's energy field. But here's the truly revolutionary aspect. You are not limited to affecting only yourself. Your mind's energy resonates beyond your body, interacting with the world around you. This is the scientific explanation behind phenomena often dismissed as coincidence or luck. Your attention, your focus, and your intentions interact with the energy fields of others and with the probabilities of events. When you cultivate positive, coherent thoughts, you are effectively nudging the universe toward outcomes that match your inner vibration. This is the essence of quantum freedom. You are not a passive observer. You are a participatory creator. Reality is not set in stone, and matter is not an immutable cage. Your consciousness interacts with energy, and that energy shapes matter. This is why mindfulness, meditation, visualization, and focused intention work not as superstition, but as direct engagement with the fundamental principles of the universe. Now, imagine living with this awareness. Every moment becomes an opportunity to consciously shape your reality. Every thought is a brushstroke, every emotion a color, painting the landscape of your life. Fear and distraction no longer have the power to trap you because you understand that your mind is a tool of creation, not a victim of circumstance. You begin to see patterns, not accidents, synchronicities, not coincidences, possibilities, not limits. The sixth lesson is a call to mastery. Your mind is not a passive lens, it is an active force in shaping reality. If you want to change the world, begin with your consciousness. If you want to change your life, begin with your attention. Focus deeply, align your thoughts with what you truly desire, and watch as the universe responds, particle by particle, probability by probability, shaping the forms of your experience according to the energy you emit. Ultimately, quantum physics is not just about the small particles in a lab. It is about you, here and now. It is a map showing that your mind is an invisible but powerful instrument, capable of influencing the very building blocks of reality. The world you see is not separate from you. It is, in part, a reflection of your consciousness. This lesson doesn't just shift perspective, it changes destiny. The moment you internalize that your mind influences matter, you stop waiting for the right conditions and start creating them. You stop blaming circumstances and start mastering energy. You stop feeling powerless and start feeling potent. In short, your thoughts are forces. Your attention is a tool. Your consciousness is an active agent in the creation of reality. Master this, and you step closer to living the life that quantum physics promises, a life where you are not trapped by matter, circumstance, or fate, but are a conscious creator of the world around you. 7. Time is flexible. From the moment we are born, we are taught to see time as a straight line past behind us, present here, and future somewhere ahead. Clocks tick, calendars turn, and life appears to move forward in one immutable direction. But quantum physics shatters this illusion, revealing that time is not as rigid as it seems. It is flexible, relative, and intimately connected to consciousness. At the quantum level, particles do not experience time in the same way we do. Experiments suggest that events can influence one another even across time. and in certain systems, what we perceive as the future can affect the present, just as the past can. This is not a philosophical idea, it's a scientifically observed phenomenon. Time, at its core, is less a fixed river and more like a fluid field, where probabilities stretch, compress, and interact in ways that defy classical logic. Imagine that for a moment in your own life. How many times have you looked back on the past and realized that what you thought was fixed could have unfolded differently? How often have you felt that your future choices were constrained, like a straight line from cause to effect? Quantum physics tells you that the past is not set in stone and the future is not predetermined. Both exist as a landscape of probabilities, flexible and responsive to the present moment and your consciousness within it. This has profound implications. Most people live trapped in time, chained by regrets, mistakes, or unchangeable events in the past. Others are paralyzed by fear of the future, imagining worst-case scenarios that may never materialize. Quantum physics exposes the illusion behind both fears. The past can only define you if you give it energy. The future can only constrain you if you project fear into it. Time is not your jailer. It is a canvas of possibilities waiting for your conscious engagement. Consider what this means for action and intention. When you focus your mind on a desired outcome, when you act with clarity and alignment, you are not simply influencing the next few seconds or hours. You are interacting with the field of potentiality, collapsing probabilities in your favor, and even subtly shaping the flow of events that precede and follow the present moment. Your attention does not exist in isolation. It resonates across time. What you imagine and focus on now can ripple backward to influence what seems already happened, and forward to determine what will emerge. This is why meditation, visualization, and intention setting are so powerful. When practiced consistently, they allow you to operate within this flexible time field. You are not bound by chronological order. You can, in effect, align yourself with the future you desire and allow that energy to influence the present you are living. Your mind becomes a bridge across time, connecting potentialities and guiding them toward manifestation. Quantum physics also challenges our understanding of causality. Cause and effect, long considered inviolable laws of nature, are not absolute at the quantum level. A particle's behavior can appear influenced by a measurement made in its future. While this may seem abstract, it carries a personal lesson. The future is not a threat, nor is it separate from you. It is a living potential that responds to your present energy and attention. By aligning your consciousness with the outcomes you desire, you are actively participating in shaping what unfolds. The flexibility of time also reframes how we perceive mistakes, failures, and setbacks. Classical thinking would have you believe that once something happens, it is fixed, and you must live with it. Quantum thinking, however, shows that the energy you bring to the present moment can transform how the past influences you. By shifting your perspective, by letting go of attachment to outcomes, and by consciously aligning your energy with higher possibilities, you effectively rewrite your experience of both past and future. You are not merely moving forward along a timeline, you are navigating a multi-dimensional field of potential realities. Understanding time's flexibility also liberates creativity and innovation. When you recognize that the future is not predetermined, you begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You begin to experiment, take risks, and explore ideas that would have been dismissed as impossible in a linear, rigid framework. Quantum physics empowers you to operate as a conscious co-creator of reality, rather than a passive passenger carried along by the clock. This lesson is transformative because it rewires your relationship with life itself. Time, instead of being a source of stress, urgency, or limitation, becomes a tool, a responsive field that interacts with your consciousness. By understanding its malleability, you stop seeing life as a sequence of events beyond your control. You begin to recognize patterns, probabilities, and possibilities that were invisible before. Every thought, decision, and intention becomes a subtle negotiation with time itself. The seventh lesson is clear, liberating, and profound. Time is flexible. The past does not imprison you. The future does not dictate your life. The present moment is a dynamic intersection of probabilities, responsive to your mind, your energy, and your intention. Master this, and you step beyond the constraints of linear thinking. You begin to move with time instead of against it, guiding the probabilities of your life with conscious awareness. When you internalize this lesson, life changes. You no longer fear what has happened because you understand it is a fluid energy field. You no longer panic about the future because you realize it is a living potential waiting to be shaped. Every present moment becomes a point of power, a junction where your consciousness interacts with possibility, collapsing probabilities into the reality you wish to create. In short, time is not a rigid ruler, it is a flexible, responsive field. Your attention, intention, and energy interact with it directly, influencing both what has happened and what will happen. Embrace this truth, and you step into a realm where reality is no longer fixed, where freedom of mind is no longer theoretical, and where your life becomes an active, conscious creation. 8. Reality is probabilistic, not fixed. We grow up believing that life is a series of fixed events, that certain things are inevitable, that success comes only with certain steps, and that failure is unavoidable if circumstances aren't perfect. This belief is deeply ingrained, but quantum physics shows that it is fundamentally wrong. At the most basic level of reality, nothing is predetermined. Everything exists as probabilities, not absolutes. Reality is not fixed. It is probabilistic, flexible, and responsive. In the world of quantum physics, particles do not behave like tiny billiard balls moving along predetermined paths. Instead, they exist as a cloud of possibilities, each outcome waiting in potential until observation or interaction collapses it into a definite state. Before this collapse, a particle can simultaneously exist in multiple states, a phenomenon known as superposition. It is only through the act of measurement or interaction that one possibility solidifies into reality. Now translate this principle to your own life. Every decision, every thought, every belief is interacting with an invisible field of probabilities. Nothing is set in stone. The reality you experience at this moment is not inevitable. It is the result of countless possibilities being filtered and shaped by the energy of your consciousness, the environment, and your actions. Your circumstances are not the final word. They are just one of many potential outcomes, momentarily crystallized. This is both liberating and terrifying. Liberating because it means that your past does not absolutely define you, that your failures are not permanent, and that your potential is far greater than you may have imagined. Terrifying because it reveals that your life is not happening to you passively. It is being actively shaped by countless interactions, including your own attention, choices, and beliefs. Every thought matters. Every focus matters, every intention matters, because reality itself is responsive to energy and probability. Consider the implications. If reality is probabilistic, then outcomes are not predetermined. What appears to be luck or chance is actually the interaction of multiple possibilities with your energy, attention, and actions. When you focus on fear, scarcity, or doubt, you increase the probability that those outcomes will manifest. When you focus on clarity, abundance, and courage, you increase the probability of favorable outcomes. Your consciousness is a powerful instrument for shaping which possibilities collapse into the reality you experience. This is why visualization, meditation, and intentional action are more than self-help techniques. They are practical applications of quantum principles. By aligning your energy with a desired outcome, by imagining it with clarity and conviction, you are not merely hoping, you are participating in the probabilistic field. collapsing the potentialities in your favor. Your mind, attention, and energy become the tools through which infinite possibilities are filtered into the life you live. But understanding reality as probabilistic requires a shift in perspective. Most people operate under the illusion of certainty, assuming that the future is fixed, that events must unfold according to rules they cannot control. This mindset limits potential and creates unnecessary suffering. Quantum physics teaches the opposite. Nothing is fixed until it is observed or acted upon. The universe is a dynamic field of possibilities, responsive to your consciousness and intention. This principle also explains why synchronicities, coincidences, and miraculous events occur. When your mind is aligned with higher probabilities, reality responds in ways that seem improbable to someone observing from a narrow, deterministic perspective. The improbable becomes probable because your consciousness interacts with the field of possibilities, influencing outcomes beyond what logic or planning alone can achieve. Now, imagine living your life with this awareness. Every challenge, every obstacle, every moment of doubt is not a dead end. It is a probability waiting to be shaped. Every choice is a lever, every thought is a brushstroke. Every emotion is a frequency interacting with the field of infinite potential. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are an active participant, filtering probabilities, shaping outcomes, and collapsing the field of possibilities into the life you experience. The eighth lesson of quantum freedom is revolutionary. Reality is probabilistic, not fixed. Your past does not dictate your future. Your circumstances do not imprison you. The world is not predetermined. It is a vast landscape of potential waiting for your mind, energy, and action to guide it into form. Every moment becomes a choice. Every thought becomes a tool, and every action becomes a decisive factor in shaping the probabilities of your life. Understanding this changes everything. Fear of failure loses its grip because failure is just one of many possibilities, not an inevitable endpoint. Regret loses its weight because the past is not fixed in absolute terms. Its influence is probabilistic, and your present actions can reshape it. Opportunity becomes visible where before you saw only limitation, because the field of potential responds to energy, attention, and intention. This lesson empowers you to live deliberately. It teaches you to cultivate awareness of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, knowing that they interact with the probabilistic fabric of reality. It invites you to see life not as a predetermined sequence of events, but as a dynamic field of infinite potential, waiting for your conscious participation. In short, the universe is a field of probabilities, not a collection of fixed outcomes. Your consciousness interacts with it, influencing which possibilities collapse into reality. Your attention, intention, and energy shape the world you experience. Master this, and you step into a life where nothing is impossible, where freedom is real, and where your mind becomes the most powerful tool for shaping the universe itself. 9. Observation creates reality. We've already explored the incredible power of your mind to influence matter, and the probabilistic nature of reality itself. But there is a deeper, even more profound truth. The mere act of observing reality helps bring it into existence. This is the principle at the heart of quantum mechanics, and it carries one of the most radical implications for your life. You are not a passive witness to existence. You are an active participant in the creation of everything you experience. At the core of this idea is the phenomenon called the observer effect. In the quantum world, particles exist as waves of potential, floating in a cloud of possibilities. They do not exist in one fixed state until they are observed. The moment a conscious measurement or observation occurs, these possibilities collapse into a single reality. In other words, reality itself is influenced by awareness, by the act of seeing, perceiving, and focusing attention. Think about that for a moment. The universe is not a predetermined machine operating independently of you. At the quantum level, it responds to your consciousness. Observation isn't just about noticing what already exists. It participates in the formation of existence itself. Every perception, every intention, every focus is a subtle act of creation. When you truly understand this, the very nature of life changes. You stop seeing yourself as trapped by circumstances and start recognizing that your awareness has the power to shape those circumstances. This principle has been confirmed in countless experiments. The double-slit experiment is the most famous example. Particles fired at a barrier with two slits will behave differently depending on whether they are observed. When unobserved, they behave like waves, existing in multiple possible paths at once. When observed, they behave like particles, collapsing into a definite path. Conscious observation is not passive, it actively determines the form reality takes. But the implications go far beyond laboratory experiments. This principle applies to every aspect of your life. The way you perceive yourself, your relationships, and the world around you directly affects what unfolds. If you perceive the world as hostile, dangerous, or limited, your attention and energy feed that perception into reality, subtly shaping events to match it. If you perceive abundance, opportunity, and possibility, the field of probabilities aligns with that awareness, manifesting outcomes consistent with your focus. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your attention are not abstract or symbolic. They are real forces in the universe. Each time you dwell on fear, doubt, or negativity, you are sending energy into the field of possibilities that increases the likelihood of outcomes matching that energy. Conversely, each time you focus with clarity, intention, and alignment, you increase the probability of outcomes that reflect that energy. Observation is creation. Focus is power. Attention is influence. Consider the broader consequences of this principle. Life is full of events that seem random or out of your control, but quantum mechanics suggests that the apparent randomness of reality is not chaos. It is a field of potential shaped by observation. What you see, what you notice, what you give energy to, is what becomes real. The universe is not indifferent. It is responsive. It is interactive, and you are at the center of that interaction. This understanding changes how you approach every moment. When you recognize that observation creates reality, you begin to observe consciously. You notice not just the surface of life, but the invisible patterns of energy, thought, and potential that form it. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles, to detect solutions where others see dead ends, and to create possibilities that would have seemed impossible before. You are no longer a spectator. You are a participant, a co-creator, a conscious observer whose focus literally shapes the world around you. But this is not just about seeing what you want. It is about aligning your mind, your intention, and your awareness. Observation without clarity or purpose is like waving a hand in the dark. You might influence something, but without precision, you cannot guide outcomes effectively. Conscious observation means focusing your awareness on what you want to bring into form, with intention and alignment. This is how mastery begins, by realizing that where your attention goes, reality flows. It also explains why mindfulness, meditation, and visualization work so effectively. These practices are not just calming techniques, they are exercises in conscious observation. By observing your inner state, your environment, and your goals with precision, you are directing the collapse of probabilities toward desired outcomes. You are shaping reality before it even appears. The ninth lesson of quantum freedom is both profound and actionable. Observation creates reality. Your consciousness is not passive. It is a powerful, active participant in the formation of everything you experience. Every thought you dwell on, every pattern of attention you maintain, every belief you hold is a tool that shapes the material world. Imagine living with this understanding fully integrated into your awareness. Every moment becomes an opportunity to participate consciously in the creation of your life. Every fear, every doubt, every negative pattern becomes an obstacle to navigate, not an immutable fact. Every focus, every act of clarity, every intentional thought becomes a lever to shape reality itself. Life stops being a sequence of accidents and starts being a field of possibilities you can interact with deliberately. When you internalize this lesson, you step beyond victimhood. You stop blaming circumstances, fate, or other people for what happens to you. You begin to see yourself as a conscious agent in the unfolding of reality. You recognize that the world is not independent of your awareness. It is responsive to it. Observation is no longer a passive act. It is a creative, powerful, and dynamic force. In short, the act of observing reality helps bring it into existence. Your awareness is a tool of creation. Your focus collapses probabilities into form, and your consciousness shapes the world around you. Master this truth, and you step fully into the role of a conscious creator, participating in the formation of your life and your universe with every thought, every intention, and every act of awareness. 10. Fear contracts reality. Fear is one of the most powerful forces you will ever encounter, and paradoxically, it is also one of the most invisible. It lurks in the corners of your mind, shaping your decisions, narrowing your choices, and quietly influencing the energy you project into the world. Quantum physics offers a radical insight into the mechanics of fear. Fear literally contracts reality, limiting the possibilities that can manifest. To understand this, we return to the principles of quantum mechanics. Reality at the subatomic level is a field of infinite potential. Particles exist in multiple states until they are observed, energy precedes form, and consciousness interacts with probabilities to determine outcomes. Everything exists as a spectrum of possibilities, except fear acts like a constricting lens, filtering those possibilities into only what is safe, known, or limited. Fear collapses the wave of potential, contracting infinite probabilities into a narrow, constrained reality. Think about your own life. How often have you avoided opportunities, failed to speak your truth, or held back from pursuing your dreams because of fear? Fear is not just an emotion. It is a subtle, energetic force that interacts with the probabilistic field of reality itself. It narrows the possibilities you experience, subtly shaping outcomes in ways that reinforce the very limitations you dread. In other words, fear is self-fulfilling at the quantum level. This principle explains why so many people feel stuck, trapped, or powerless, even when external circumstances appear neutral. Their energy, colored by worry, doubt, or anxiety, interacts with the field of probabilities, producing outcomes consistent with that contraction. Fear does not just exist in the mind, it manifests in reality. It is a quantum signal that tells the universe only this limited range of outcomes is acceptable. But there is good news. The reverse is also true. Courage, clarity, and aligned intention expand reality. When you act from a place of confidence, focus, and inner alignment, you are broadcasting energy into the probabilistic field that invites broader possibilities, greater opportunities, and more favorable outcomes. Fear contracts reality, but conscious courage expands it. Your emotional state, your thoughts, and your focus act like a tuning fork, setting the frequency of the reality you experience. Consider the implications for your daily life. Every moment presents a choice. Will you allow fear to dominate your attention, constricting your reality into predictable, limited patterns? Or will you step forward with intention, expanding your focus and aligning with the highest probabilities of growth, success, and fulfillment? Your consciousness is not passive. Your inner energy interacts with the fabric of reality, amplifying certain outcomes and suppressing others. Fear is not a trivial emotion. It is a quantum force. This is why practices like mindfulness, meditation, and deliberate focus are so powerful. They are not merely techniques for calming the mind, they are ways to consciously manage your energy, release fear, and expand the field of possibilities. By observing fear without attachment, you prevent it from collapsing potential outcomes into a narrow, limited reality. By choosing alignment, confidence, and clarity, you broadcast a frequency that allows broader, more expansive realities to emerge. Let's make this even more tangible. When you approach a decision, a challenge, or an uncertain situation, fear signals the mind to focus on risk, danger, and limitation. This focused energy collapses the wave of probabilities into outcomes consistent with that limitation. If you instead approach the same situation with clarity, confidence, and vision, your observation and energy interact with the field of potential in a way that expands the number of positive outcomes available to you. In essence, fear shrinks reality, courage grows it. This principle also explains why many breakthroughs, innovations, and life-changing events occur in moments of bold action. Those who dare to step forward, despite uncertainty, are engaging with reality in a way that expands possibilities. They are not lucky. They are consciously interacting with the probabilistic field, broadcasting energy that invites favorable outcomes and opens doors that fear would otherwise keep closed. Quantum physics teaches that nothing is predetermined, yet fear can create a self-imposed cage, a pattern of limitation that feels unbreakable until consciousness intervenes. To free yourself, you must first recognize the invisible grip fear has on your mind and energy. Then, you must consciously shift your focus, intentionally collapsing probabilities in favor of expansion rather than contraction. This is not wishful thinking, it is science applied to the art of living. The 10th lesson is both liberating and urgent. Fear contracts reality. It limits possibilities, narrows outcomes, and traps the mind in patterns of self-restriction. Courage, intention, and clarity expand reality, opening pathways to opportunities, growth, and freedom. Mastering this principle is essential for anyone who wants to operate consciously within the quantum field of life. Imagine living with this awareness fully integrated into your daily experience. You would no longer act out of fear or scarcity. You would recognize fear as a signal of contraction and deliberately choose expansion. You would approach challenges with curiosity, confidence, and clarity, knowing that your energy actively interacts with the probabilities of reality. You would begin to navigate life as a conscious participant rather than a passive reactor. In short, fear is not just an emotion. It is a quantum force that contracts the field of possibilities. Courage, alignment, and focused intention expand that field, creating more favorable, abundant, and liberating realities. Understanding this allows you to step into a life where fear no longer dictates your boundaries, where limitations are seen as temporary probabilities rather than fixed truths, and where your consciousness becomes the ultimate tool for shaping the world around you. 11. Synchronicity is real. Have you ever experienced a moment that seemed too precise, too meaningful, or too perfect to be mere coincidence? Maybe you were thinking about someone and they called you out of the blue, or you found exactly the book, person, or opportunity you needed at the exact right moment. Most people dismiss these experiences as luck, chance, or random alignment. But quantum physics offers a radical explanation. Synchronicity is real. The universe is not chaotic. It is responsive. Events align with your energy, attention, and consciousness in ways that may appear improbable but are deeply meaningful. At the quantum level, everything is interconnected. Particles separated by vast distances can influence one another instantly, a phenomenon known as entanglement. Energy waves ripple across space and time, linking events in ways that are invisible to the ordinary eye. When you combine this understanding with the probabilistic nature of reality, it becomes clear that nothing is truly random. What you experience as coincidence is often the universe responding to the frequencies you emit, your thoughts, your focus, your emotional energy, interacting with the infinite field of potential outcomes. Imagine for a moment that life is not a chaotic string of events, but a network of probabilities, a web of potential realities stretching infinitely in all directions. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every intention you set sends ripples through this network. The energy you emit interacts with the probabilities, subtly influencing how events unfold and how they intersect. Synchronicities are the visible markers of these interactions, the moments when your inner energy aligns perfectly with external reality. This principle changes everything about how you perceive chance and opportunity. What appears random or accidental is actually a reflection of your alignment or misalignment with the field of infinite possibilities. When you are in harmony with your purpose, your attention, and your energy, the universe seems to conspire in your favor. Doors open, encounters happen, and resources appear, all because your consciousness is interacting with the probabilities of reality. These moments of alignment are not luck. They are evidence that your mind, energy, and focus are co-creating reality in concert with the universe. Synchronicity also provides guidance. Every coincidental event, every chance meeting, every meaningful alignment is a signal, an invisible pointer nudging you toward actions, decisions, or perspectives that will expand your life. When you ignore these signals, you miss opportunities. When you pay attention, you step into a flow where the improbable becomes natural, where the universe seems to mirror your intentions, and where life becomes a series of meaningful, aligned events. Quantum physics suggests that the field of probabilities is sensitive to coherent energy patterns. Your consciousness, when focused, intentional, and aligned, interacts with these probabilities in ways that make seemingly impossible outcomes more likely. This is why synchronicities often occur when you are pursuing your true purpose, exploring your passions, or acting with clarity and courage. The universe responds to the frequency you emit, aligning external events with the internal state of your consciousness. But there is a deeper layer to this principle. Synchronicities are not just random rewards, they are opportunities to recognize patterns, act deliberately, and expand your understanding of reality. Each meaningful coincidence is a teaching, a nudge, a reminder that you are participating in a dynamic system of interaction between consciousness and possibility. By observing these alignments and following their guidance, you strengthen your ability to consciously shape the probabilities that make up your life. This principle also explains why intention is so powerful. When you clearly define what you desire, visualize it, and feel it as real, you are not merely imagining outcomes, you are interacting with the field of probabilities in a coherent way. The universe responds. People, events, and circumstances align to match the frequency of your focused intention. Synchronicities are simply the visible markers of this alignment, the universe showing you that your inner energy is resonating with outer reality. Understanding synchronicity also frees you from the illusion of randomness. Most people live their lives reacting to events as if they were arbitrary, outside their control, and meaningless. This mindset creates frustration, anxiety, and the feeling of being at the mercy of fate. Quantum physics shows that reality is responsive, interactive, and meaningful. Once you see synchronicities for what they are, tangible reflections of your consciousness interacting with probabilities, you begin to operate consciously within the flow of reality. The 11th lesson is clear and transformative. Synchronicity is real, life is a network of probabilities, and meaningful coincidences are signs of alignment between your consciousness and the universe. By observing, understanding, and acting on these signals, you can navigate reality with awareness and precision, co-creating outcomes that resonate with your highest potential. Living with this awareness transforms your experience of life. You stop seeing events as random or meaningless. You begin to notice patterns, connections, and opportunities that were invisible before. You learn to trust the flow of life while maintaining conscious focus, recognizing that the improbable is possible when your mind and energy are aligned with higher probabilities. Synchronicity becomes a tool, a guide, and a mirror, reflecting the alignment of your inner state with the unfolding of external reality. In practical terms, this means cultivating awareness of your energy, your focus, and your intentions. Observe the coincidences that appear in your life, follow the guidance they provide, and refine your consciousness to emit coherent, intentional energy. Recognize that your thoughts, feelings, and actions are constantly interacting with the probabilistic field of reality, and that every meaningful alignment is an invitation to participate consciously in the co-creation of your life. In short, synchronicity is not luck or accident. It is the visible proof that your consciousness interacts with the field of probabilities, aligning external events with your internal state. By recognizing, understanding, and acting on these alignments, you step into a life of purpose, flow, and conscious co-creation. 12. You are the creator of your reality. After exploring the previous 11 lessons, one profound truth emerges. You are not a passive observer of life. You are not at the mercy of circumstance, fate, or random chance. Every particle, every probability, every moment of your existence is intertwined with your consciousness. Quantum physics reveals the ultimate truth. You are the creator of your reality. At the core of the quantum world, nothing is fixed. Matter is energy, reality is probabilistic, observation collapses possibilities, and time is flexible. Your thoughts, emotions, attention, and intention are forces that interact with this field of infinite potential, shaping the form reality takes. From the tiniest particle to the largest event in your life, everything responds to the energy you emit. In other words, life is not happening to you. Life is happening with you. This may sound abstract, but it is profoundly practical. Think about your daily experiences, the opportunities that appear, the challenges you face, the people who come into your life. All of these are influenced by your consciousness. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel sends ripples into the field of probability. These ripples influence which possibilities crystallize into your lived experience. You are not merely shaping yourself internally, you are shaping the very world around you. Many people live as if life is outside their control. They blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their reality. But quantum physics reveals that this perspective is incomplete. Reality is responsive. The world reflects the energy, focus, and consciousness you bring to it. Your mind is not a spectator in the theater of existence. It is the playwright, the director, and the lead actor. By understanding this, you move from passivity to participation, from helplessness to mastery. Consider the implications for your thoughts. Every belief you cling to, whether empowering or limiting, interacts with the field of potential outcomes. Limiting beliefs act like heavy chains, constricting the wave of probabilities into narrow, constrained experiences. Empowering beliefs act like open channels, expanding the range of possibilities and inviting opportunities that were previously invisible. Your consciousness is a filter, a lens, and a creative force, collapsing infinite potentialities into your personal reality. Emotions amplify this process. Fear, doubt, and anxiety constrict reality, narrowing the outcomes that manifest. Love, gratitude, joy, and clarity expand reality, broadening the spectrum of possibilities that respond to your energy. This is why practices such as mindfulness, visualization, meditation, and intention setting are not merely spiritual or self-help tools. They are quantum tools for consciously shaping the world. They allow you to align your consciousness with the outcomes you desire, interacting with the probabilistic field in a coherent, powerful way. Your attention is equally crucial. Where you focus determines what probabilities collapse into your reality. Attention is energy. It is a force that interacts with the infinite potential of the universe. If you focus on fear, limitation, or scarcity, you reinforce those outcomes. If you focus on abundance, creativity, and possibility, you shift the probabilities toward expansion. The universe is not indifferent. It is responsive to your focus, reflecting back the energy you project. Time, too, is malleable in this process. The past does not have to dictate the future, because reality is probabilistic. Your present energy, attention, and intention influence not only the immediate unfolding of events, but also the probabilities that extend backward and forward in time. By consciously interacting with the present moment, you shape both the narrative of your life and the flow of experiences yet to come. The past becomes a set of potential lessons rather than immutable limitations. The future becomes a landscape of possibility rather than a predetermined path. This lesson culminates in the understanding that your life is a mirror of your consciousness. Every event, every encounter, every circumstance is a reflection of your inner state. By mastering your mind, aligning your energy, and focusing your attention intentionally, you gain the ability to consciously co-create the reality you desire. You are no longer subject to life. You are an active participant in its formation. The power of this understanding is immense. It liberates you from victimhood, fear, and limitation. It allows you to approach life as a canvas, with every thought, emotion, and intention serving as a brushstroke. You can begin to navigate life with precision, insight, and awareness, recognizing that you are not merely reacting to reality, you are interacting with it, shaping it, and co-creating it moment by moment. Even the improbable becomes achievable. When your consciousness aligns with intention and coherent energy, synchronicities emerge, opportunities appear, and probabilities that once seemed impossible collapse into reality. Life becomes responsive, intelligent, and deeply meaningful. You are no longer waiting for circumstances to change. You are actively influencing the wave of possibilities, participating in the unfolding of your own destiny. In practical terms, this requires conscious mastery of mind, energy, and attention. Thoughts. Choose beliefs that empower and expand your potential. Emotions. Cultivate emotional states that resonate with clarity, love, and abundance. Focus. Direct attention intentionally toward the outcomes you wish to create. Action. Align behavior with consciousness, bridging intention with tangible steps. Awareness. Observe patterns, synchronicities, and opportunities, using them as guidance in the co-creation of reality. The 12th lesson of quantum freedom is the culmination of all previous lessons. You are not a victim of reality, you are its creator. Every thought, every emotion, every observation, every intention interacts with the field of infinite potential, shaping the world you experience. Master your mind, focus your energy, and consciously participate in the formation of reality, and you step into the role you were always meant to play, the architect of your life. Imagine living fully in this truth. Every day becomes a canvas, every decision becomes a lever, every moment becomes a tool for creation. Life is no longer random or constrained. It is responsive, interactive, and infinitely malleable. You are no longer a passenger. You are a conscious creator, actively shaping every facet of your existence. In short, you are the creator of your reality. Consciousness is your tool, intention is your instrument, and attention is your force. Master them, and you hold the power to shape your life, transform your world, and collapse infinite possibilities into the reality you desire. Now you know the truth. Reality is not fixed. Time bends, matter is energy, fear contracts, synchronicities guide, and your mind is far more powerful than you ever imagined. The universe is not happening to you, it is responding to you. The power to shape your life, to collapse probabilities in your favor, to create the reality you've always imagined, has been in your hands all along. Every thought, every intention, every moment of awareness is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. So step forward with courage. Focus your mind, align your energy, observe consciously, and remember, the life you desire is not a distant dream. It is waiting to be shaped by the only force that truly matters: you. This is your invitation to stop being a passenger and start being the creator of your reality. The quantum world is waiting. Are you ready to take control?